Okay, so basically many areas of life where I just don't really know where I'm going. Like I just feel like I lack a sense of direction, where I just don't really know if I'm in the right path or if I'm in the right direction in life, right? We've been often told that we should always take action every single time, but at the same time, there are a lot of more obstacles that are basically along the way that is really holding us back. Like we always have like this huge like bottleneck that's really like restraining us, that's really holding us back at this given moment of our success in the future, for like any future outcome or success, right? And there's often times when we've been told that we should always focus on the process and not on the outcome. And by all means necessary, there are a lot of things that must be changed, right? There is a lot of things on how we should learn to take action. A lot of people always say that you should always take action. And there's a lot of people that you should learn before taking action. And it's a huge mix in between, by all means necessary. Like if you think about like the fat man's gym workout. So like if a fat guy literally has to go to the gym, the only way a fat guy should actually go to the gym is just go to the gym, not just think about the tactics or the form or like how you should do your reps in, or like what kind of exercises you should do. You just do it, right? But at the same time, there is a balance between both of them in one, right? So especially with YouTube, I would always like go and make YouTube videos every single time, and I wouldn't even learn. I wouldn't even watch any YouTube videos or guides or any mentors that would really like give me deliberate practice. And that's what's really nice about the world and how we always have mentors in our lives, because with mentors, time is just very limited. Time is very short and life is really short, and it just speeds up too quickly, like we're just in the flow state, right? So that's why it's always good to always have mentors and just never take it for granted, right? Because when it comes to always finding mentors, it gives you a direction, it gives you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And a lot of people just rush right away and just like start doing the thing right now without ever having any sort of motion. I'm a big fan of both, right? But at the same time, it needs a little bit of in between, a balance between, learning and then taking action. It's a huge, you know, thing that I often debate every single day, right? So yeah, in many areas of life, especially when you're born in Earth, you start to live in the world in an area where you don't even know what to do, right? You are blind. You treat life as if it's a gamble, as if you don't even know what you're doing with your life. But you ever actually get this feeling where people would always pressure you to always say, do it now, do it now, do it now, right? Well, do they even have the wisdom to learn from the mistakes of others? You have to understand that time is extremely limited, right? Don't expect to just grind yourself out alone and just play life as if it's some sort of like gamble, like you're just being so blind. It's like you're basically running a raid without any sort of instructions, without any sort of people to actually ever guide you, right? So that's why we often have these role models to look up to, right? We always have these role models around the internet or around YouTube, because we need someone to actually look up to. We need someone that we can relate to. We need someone that can actually give us a guidance. That's why in school we have teachers. That's why in and many other courses we always have mentors, because we need guidance. And the fact that time is so limited, it kind of gives us a huge path. It's not just only a shortcut. Sure, it's actually basically a shortcut, but it basically gives us like where we're going and where we shouldn't go, right? So besides, you really need mentors and people to guide you. I mean, even the books that you even read, they're basically serve as a guide, as a way to lead you to the right direction. I do believe that a lot of guys always say that, oh yeah, self help books are useless. Like, shut the fuck up, right? Get out of here, right? So, in my opinion, I do believe that self help books are really good. I think it's really helped me a lot. Whenever I would always educate myself, it really helps me be more proactive and learn from going to the right direction. It helps me learn from the mistakes of other people. It's not just only a shortcut, it's a direction of deliberate practice. When it comes to deliberate practice, it's basically, you actually take action, and then someone is actually going to give you feedback along the way. I've always had this situation like when I was in high school, and I think it's really helped me a lot. And that's why I really liked my years in high school, because it really gave me an understanding where I had teachers who always give me like deliberate practice and giving me feedback on how to improve this, right? And I know everywhere I go, I would often be around with like a bunch of like average people. They would always say, "Oh, but mentors are useless. Oh, you can do this all on your own. Oh yeah, you don't need a personal trainer." Like, shut up, shut the fuck up, right? You know, you have a choice, right? You want to spend 10 years to achieve that goal, or do you actually want to spend it 5 years and show off to these dickheads, that you even, or these bullies at school, that you achieved something, that you actually made, I don't know, 10K a month in the next 2 years rather than making 10K a month around the next 10 years, right? You actually want to show off, right? You have like this huge, massive ego that you literally want to show off your parents, or that you actually want to show off those kids and prove them wrong. I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, and yeah, I get it. I know you want to get girls too, but at the same time, you should kind of want to have like this huge advantage to having all the resources of education. Education is freedom, right? So you basically have to sharpen the sword. You have to learn before taking action, because without learning and without educating yourself before taking action, you start to lose momentum and you will stay somewhat stuck. It has happened to me with YouTube when I was just grinding out alone without any sort of mentorship and looking at any guides. I felt stuck without mentors and without guidance. And that is why I fucking hate when people always tell you, take action, take action, take action. And fair enough, right? You always have to take action by all means necessary. Like, there's often like different scenarios and different situations where you often have to take action first, then actually, learn from it. And for an example, it could be with football, it could be with, learning a skill, learning the basics of piano, etc., right? Even going to the gym, like, when it comes to going to the gym, like, yeah, take action right away, right? But later on, as soon as you actually get better, you basically have to start learning. The same applies especially in sports too. So there are different scenarios, and out of my own humility, there are some things that you often have to take action before you learn, and there's often times where you have to learn before taking action. When you just always take action every single time without ever learning, without ever reading books, you're basically broken in pieces without any sort of knowledge. It's just like going to the gym every day without even sleeping. And it's interesting because this gives me a huge scenario, and that's what's so interesting about school, even though, like, yeah, the school system's like all fucked up and stuff like that, but they do have some really good points and examples. And when you go to school, right, like, let's say when you go to a science class, right, you were taught what you should do before going on a lab experience, and know the lab safety, because without it, you'd be fucking dead and you'd be fucked. You'd probably get your hair burned out, right? The idea that you don't need to learn and just do the work only is just complete bullshit, because when the work that you can do is just poor, then doing the work isn't actually the good thing. You need to educate yourself. You need to get constant information, knowledge, wisdom, clarity, and pure education on everything that you're trying to do so that you can do it well. Imagine just driving a car right away without even any sort of education or knowledge to even know the traffic signs of the streets, or even the law that you shouldn't even be drinking underage, right? You'd probably be dead already, and you might have killed your parents, you might have killed your brother, you might have killed your sister in the backseat, right? And that all comes to you without even taking action, dude. Like, what the fuck? So why don't you learn to prevent the problems that could even end up causing regret and sorrow? This could basically save years of your life. And I mean, I remember back in the day when I was 12, when I was actually on the bus, and I was actually with one of the boys, right? And I yeeted a fucking water bottle out the bus window, and I remember boasting about it in front of some kid for actually doing something silly, and he took it so seriously, and he told me that I broke the law, and it was literally littering. I didn't even know I even broke the law, right? But looking at it, I was shocked and scared as fuck that I would even end up going to juvenile for it. So understand that, and thank God I didn't end up in juvenile, but like, I did a bunch of stupid shit back then. Like, I even yeeted a water bottle out the bus window, and I didn't even know that I even broke the law. And I literally had to end up writing a apology letter. So imagine what it would be like if you were not able to read the manual or the law before even taking action. You'd probably wind up being in jail, and perhaps your future wife would even cheat on you for some other guy who will put in custody. You'd probably she'll probably fuck another guy, right? So the thing is, why would you just not learn how other people got to success? Like, you should literally learn other people's successes. Like, you should learn the mistakes of other people, right? So in our search for success, why do we think that we should do? Like, what should we do? And at the same time, we need to basically temper your ambition, right? Like, you have to get to the point like, oh yeah, let's go. Let's go do this. Let's fucking take action right away, right? There are people that have told you how to become successful, and the authors of the book and the mentors that you're looking forward to, they're literally giving you shortcuts if you just learn it. So don't make this fucking excuse that, oh yeah, you read too much, you get confused for a long period of time. Oh, I'm just gonna give up, end up having information overload. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, I read every day, and it helps me a lot to understand the points on what is right and wrong for me. And yeah, out of honesty, I basically do go through some sort of information overload, but at the same time, I basically go to like this combine like what works for me and what goes out for me, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, and just like combine them all. Basically, like how Bruce Lee basically combines his tactics with his combat style. So that's what I normally do with the books that I always read and the information that I watch, whether if it's in podcasts, whether if it's in books, and even whether if it's from mentors as well. So keep improving. When you read, you are basically sharpening the sword that you use for the work. You've been told by many of these silly gurus that are telling you that you don't need to learn and instead go do the work. But that is actually using a broken sword through getting knowledge. That is how many people got success quickly and got the results that they wanted in any sort of discipline or career that they're actually in, because of the sheer knowledge and wisdom. Education is freedom. And I know the school system is shit, but education and the school system are basically not the same thing. They're basically two different things, right? So the need to ask questions, the need to study and reflect, the importance of intellectual humility, and the power of experiences to learn the mistakes of others and their failures, and to seek clarity in a misguided world, and to seek exposure to all the blindness that we actually fall into. You're basically blind if you just don't seek education, if you just don't invest in yourself, if you don't invest in your education. So when you don't read, you're fucking blind, right? You're basically gambling life. There's this really good quote, and it says, it's gambling if you don't know what you're doing. It's not gambling if you know what you're doing. The people don't read have no advantage over those who cannot read. So go find some questions that fascinate you. Find some big ideas. Treat your mind as if it's a muscle, and seek exposure from all the knowledge that you get from successful people. Learn from them regardless of taking action. Reading and learning is what gives you direction. Learn and then take action. And it's not just only from just seeking just simply exposure, but as well to recall.